If you could for me, because I know this term, the streets, is going to come up quite often. Define to the audience, like, when you say the streets, what do you mean?
Okay, so when I say the streets, let's be honest, hip hop comes from the streets.
Okay.
So when we talking about music, true enough, you can go and get all the views you want. But why you think these boys out here crashing out? Because they trying to get co-signment from the streets. They trying to get certified for the street people that, that's not on social media. Because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, if you banging in the streets, you can bang on social media. It don't go like that and vice versa. Just because you banging on social media, millions of views, people in the streets, you might be obsolete to it. And everybody want to be recognized in the streets because hip hop is a street driven game. So when I'm speaking in the streets, I'm not saying in the sense of like, doing street shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's more of hip hop. The struggle, the music come from the streets. Everything they talking about is some street shit. So when you talking that street shit, you got to cater to the street consumers. So they live a little different. You know what I'm saying? So when you come from the streets and you don't put that real work in, the streets never forget you. Now, why you think they in New York and them boys, you got NBA cats, they on the biggest, highest level, but when they go to that part, they recognize them street legends.
Gotcha. Do you consider yourself a legend?
The streets do. The game do. I never did. I let the game talk. The game call me that. They put their word on me. I just consider myself good.
Gotcha. Because I hear you refer to yourself a few times on interviews as a legend.
Oh, it's solidified now. I weathered the storm. No, I weathered the storm. So, honestly, what I did can't be reduplicated.
Okay.
It can't be reduplicated, and you got to be a person who's connected with the streets to understand that story. If you just trying to get that information from people who came up in the digital aspect, it's going to be hard. But we got that coming too, because I got the movie documentary coming to world. Now everybody who do, these boys 25, 26, 27, I can show you me. Now, when I was 25, 26, 27, and I let y'all be the judge, I'm a grown man now. So now don't look for me to do what I was doing when 10, 15 years ago. If you looking for that person, I'm going to give you the DVD.
Okay. I look at it, and I know you talk about the streets, how you perceive it. Can the streets evolve? Because for you, the streets were more physical, at a time where you was at your height, you was amongst the people, physical CDs was selling. It was a more personable interaction in person.
Right.
This generation, just as real as the streets were to you at this time, the streets for them is real. Could you be losing connections with the younger generation if you're not willing to accept the fact that for them, the streets have evolved? They don't look at the streets the way that you do. That old time for them is past.
And honestly, how I look at it, they looking at it different. That's why everything going crazy. It's a different way of living right now. Now, the way they played in the streets ain't how I played in the streets, because I came up in the cocaine era, the crack era. They came up in the pharmaceutical era, so they game is a little bit more different. Yeah, they streets a little bit more different. They bag is a little bit more different, but it still remains the same. It's some people still eating the long way. The streets ain't never gonna leave. Yeah. They gonna stay where they at. Yeah. Nah, they go. So you better cater to them. Cause guess what? Them boys stayed out here. They done blew up on the social media, and they not attached to the streets. That's why they trying to do all this stuff to attach to the streets, and they fucking themselves off.
I see no reward with the streets.
So it's all kind of ways you can play in the streets. See, once again, let's not get to the point where I'm saying you have to do street shit. I'm more saying being connected. When I'm saying, and we speaking in the music aspect, in a sense, when I'm saying going to the streets, now I'm going to pull up what you see Khaled doing right now. No, Khaled said, you know what, man, I've been eating all this new money, but I'm going to go back to in-stores. I'm going to go back to seeing and rubbing shoulders with my audience instead of picking up the phone and letting them see me on some digital. That's what I'm talking about. We talking about music. We ain't talking about the street life. We talking about the entertainment.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying that's what I'm saying, being connected.
Should legends call themselves legends?
I mean, if it's stamped, sealed, and approved, then I mean, why not?
Because to me, I think when a legend starts saying that they're a legend, it makes them seem unsure that they're a legend, as if they're trying to promote, broadcast, and convince people of their legendary status. Like typically, legends don't have to speak for themselves; the people speak. And so when you see a legend start calling himself a legend, it make you start to say like, "Oh, shit, this dude may not be a legend. He don't look at himself like
I
that."
mean, that just I hear you answering the question. That just sounds like something you fathering up. Everybody got their own way of thinking. You could feel that way. You could feel like a legend shouldn't call itself a legend. That's your personal opinion. So everybody go have their own personal opinions, and I mean, on opinions, it don't be no right or wrong on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm not finna. You could look at a person that's considered themselves a legend funny because they saying, I'm a legend. I did it. You can look at it like that. I don't look at it like that. I don't look at it when Mayweather say he the greatest, and shit, that's groovy, my guy. But you could look at it like that and be like, no. So it's to each his own. I don't see no problem with it. But if some people do, I mean, hey, what they supposed to mean?